Hello, welcome to the Spotlight Show. My name is Jabez Napoleon Ogbole. I'm very happy to be with you tonight, and wherever you may be watching us from, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you once again for being able to join us today on this wonderful episode. I'm very grateful for taking time from your busy schedule to be with me tonight. So thank you once again. Remember, we're live right now on our Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube channel at GBKMTV. And please check out our website on the net for the network, www.gkm.fm. All right, so we're coming right now from the city of Toronto, from the GKM network. And like I said, please tell your friends and family about this program. Like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. And of course, share the videos. The recordings are always available after the live program. It's a 30-minute show packed with information that benefits you and I. And of course, this show cannot be made possible without the support from viewers like you and all our partners. And I would like to give a quick shout out to those individuals and businesses that made this show possible. First of all, the African Young Entrepreneurs based out of Johannesburg in South Africa. Like I said, I am affiliated with this organization. They have numerous information and packages for entrepreneurs, and they have a network of close to over 10 million entrepreneurs, across Africa and the world. They are also present here in Canada. And of course, our other partner, Imani's Place, is a shelter that is black-led and is geared for women who are victims of domestic violence, sex and human trafficking, or suffering from homelessness. Any brother, any sister or mothers out there that needs such help, they have so much resources available there, be it immigration, legal, job search, etc., to be able to integrate back to the community. So please give them a shout out. Check out their website, www.imanisplace.org. Wonderful organization. And of course, our wonderful partner, Pan-Africa Arts, Culture and Trade Institute, based out of the city of Toronto here, where we are based from. And they've always been partnering with embassies and Commonwealth of Nations and doing seminars and exhibitions and shows, empowering people and making that connection, between several African and Caribbean countries, and making trade possible with Canada. So thank you once again. And of course, Daniela Corporation, wonderful corporation, doing disruptive. They are disrupting the mineral sector. So please check them out, their website, daniela.com. So please, guys, thank you once again. Today is going to be very interesting. Like I said before, we're going to go on a journey. Today's topic is what? Group economics. I always tell every week, I always tell you, individualistic approach is not really ideal for most businesses and most venture. So see, there's power in numbers. So it's high time we begin to find like minds, people that you can that have similar economic interest, economic benefit. I always tell people the best way to forge ahead and make good alliances is not based on your religion or your hobbies. It's always that economic interest. Okay, guys. So today we're going to be talking about group economics. Before we go in there, remember, let's talk a little bit about current affairs. Last week, what did I tell you about some of the scandals that was rocking the current Liberal government based here in Canada? The WE scandal. WE is a charitable organization doing amazing things out there in the community across the globe. They had the opportunity to administer a fund that was set aside because of COVID-19 to help students, who were doing during the summer period, doing some work out there so they can be paid, etc. Because with the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of businesses were shutting down, people were not hiring. But there was a bit of conflict of interest, and there was a committee set up to investigate. I always tell people, innocent until proven guilty. But what happened recently? Our Minister of Finance had to resign because of that scandal. Conflict of interest, the fact that its daughter worked for that organization, it's been paid by that organization in the past for speaking engagement, etc. He had to resign because it was found that they actually broke the ethics law. And apart from that, he had to resign from his MP position. Wow. I always tell wherever you may be watching this show, if you're black, of African descent, Caribbean, person of color, wherever you may be based in the continent or even in the diaspora, I always tell people, Canada is one of the best countries in the world, and I'm blessed to be here. And look at that, you understand? Most countries wouldn't even make any investigation, but look at Canada, rule of law, checks and balances. And this is a wonderful gentleman, some people may say, oh, it's not a big deal, but, that's what Canada is all about, checks and balances and rule of law. All right, guys. But I always tell people, in every battle, there are winners and losers. In this case, what happened? Freeland, our current deputy prime minister, was actually given that new position, and she's now the first female to hold the finance portfolio in Canada, and she's doing amazing things. I'm going to quickly share with you a quick image so you can see this wonderful lady. Let's quickly talk about who she is. Yes, that's Chrystia Freeland, our former deputy prime minister and now the minister of finance. Lovely woman, and let's talk a little bit about her. I'm taking you on a journey. Chrystia Freeland, from 1999 to 2001, she was served as deputy editor for Globe and Mail. And next, she worked as the managing director and editor for Consumer News. I'm taking you on your journey. There's a reason I'm telling you this at Thomson Reuters. And in 2013-2015, she became a member of the Canadian House of Commons. 2015-2017, she became the Minister of International Trade. She became famous with that particular position. Why? Because of the renegotiation of the NAFTA. And you understand she had a very firm grant trying to secure a good deal for Canada with the U.S., Canada-Mexico free trade agreement. And from being the foreign affairs minister, she now became the 10th deputy prime minister of Canada and 13th minister of intergovernmental affairs. And currently, she's serving as the current minister of finance. What does that tell you? You must always be consistent in whatever you do. Do it as if everyone is watching you. You understand? Do it very well. Because I feel that she's being groomed to be the next prime minister of this great country. And if not even the next prime minister, she will or may be able to hold the leader of the Liberal Party. Okay, guys, so remember, whatever you may be doing, do it with all your heart, because I've always noticed that Chrystia Freeland has always been a supporter of Trudeau and also a supporter of the Liberal policies. She stands for the truth whenever any situation occurs, within the foreign affairs atmosphere. But she's been really supportive of our prime minister, and you can see how she's been able to hold multiple positions. And like I said, watch out. You will see very soon. She may be our future prime minister. All right, guys. Let's talk about what this show is always about. Information. We've done some heavy lifting for you guys this week and giving you some very vital information into act on it. Since this show started, we've always been going out there to do our analysis and bring very wonderful information backed with data so that we can make informed decisions. And this week is not different. This week with the COVID pandemic, a lot of things have been happening. But COVID-19 is a bit special. Why? Because for the first time, COVID-19 has resulted in many nations shutting down their economy. Let me show you a quick image of some of the pandemics that affected the world. You see, there's been several pandemics that has actually affected the world, but COVID-19 has been the first one that resulted in the shutdown of many economics. In the history of humanity, this is not the first time a pandemic has actually happened. There have been several pandemics prior to COVID-19, as you can see on the screen. But however, if you look at that image on the screen, note that the death toll numbers listed are best estimate based on available research. So some of those numbers are subject to debate based on new evidence, like the COVID-19. That number shows almost 800,000, and that is actually from the Johns Hopkins University. Why am I showing you this? Because in discussion recently with several experts, people have varied opinions about the reason why so many restrictions and lockdowns. Initially, remember I would use the word conspiracy theory. People were talking about 5G. They want to enable 5G, lay the cables and whatnot, so they wanted people indoors and not to have that disruption. Recently, that is no longer in the news. I was in a discussion recently, and somebody actually told me something I'd like to share with you. And it's up to you to actually do your own research and decide. Have that discussion. What really got my interest was the fact that artificial intelligence and machine learning. It's a big deal right now in this part of the world. I know back in the continent of Africa, a lot of companies don't be adopting that technology. But in North America and Europe, robotics and robotics process automation is very, very important. And that's why somebody told me that actually because of the layoff, you know, when there's layoff, company really wants to stay because they are accountable to their shareholders. So they really want to continue to make profit. And when there's layoff like that, sometimes it's really, really hard to get people back on that job. But someone told me actually that perhaps a lot of companies are trying to introduce this machine learning and artificial intelligence, you know, to replace a whole lot of work. And the reason I'm bringing that to you now is that, you know, you need to actually do your own research because, truthfully speaking, in many industries right now, including aviation, you know, machine learning is being you know, deployed behind the scenes, and they've been learning, you know, how to fly plane, fly fighter jets as well. In e-commerce as well, you know, machine learning has been behind the platform that powers those e-commerce, actually learning, you know, trying to see human behavior and interaction. So guys, what do you think about this? You know, I know that you've probably, in your homes, in your communities, place of work, you know, you probably have several discussions about the impact of COVID-19 and why some of these governments are dragging their feet, you know, to relax this lockdown and let people go back to work and businesses open fully. That's what I mean, which is not happening. So if you think perhaps that's one of the reasons, I don't know. I'm just sharing that information with you. But why am I talking about this? Because truthfully speaking, I need you all to understand that the world is changing. Truthfully speaking, I did some research recently, and I noticed that the unemployment rate across countries is actually increasing. There is a whole lot of people unemployed right now, and apart from that, many governments, like in Canada, America, are actually helping people stay at home, and those that do not have jobs, they are being paid some stipends, you know, some amount of money, so that way they can continue to feed and take care of themselves. So what do you really think? You know, major companies are laying off people. Companies are looking at automating their workforce. So, man, do your research, critically analyze the situation, and make your own wise decision. But why I'm bringing you this is based on this report I found out recently. The World Economic Forum actually did a study, and they said that by 2022, we're in 2020, so in 2 years' time, they believe that 21% of jobs will become redundant and done by robots. Okay, and some of those jobs that will be affected include data entry. So if you know someone, you're in the field of data entry, you know, now is the time to begin to acquire new skills and see how you can take advantage of these opportunities that's opening up. Because truthfully speaking, data entry, which are anything that's repetitive, yes, robotic process automation, or, you know, artificial intelligence or machine learning is taking over that. They're going to be doing that already. I'm in the tech space as well, and I know definitely a lot of companies that have actually deployed such solutions. Apart from data entry, accountant, yes, accountant is one of the professions become redundant very soon. Delivery drivers, remember, self-driving vehicles is no longer futuristic. It's actually happening right now. Tesla is taking that lead, and many companies are coming on board as well. Lawyers, yes, have you heard about IBM Watson? You know, wonderful artificial intelligence that is actually learning a lot of things. This AI can actually run through, you know, millions of data in seconds. So lawyers, yes, is one of the professions with time. Maybe when we go to court, people represent themselves, and using their smartphone, they can actually search for cases and be able to prove that beyond reasonable doubt, you understand, that you know, there's precedents, and they may not be found guilty based on you know, artificial intelligence helping them build a case. Apart from that, factory workers, yes, robots are taking over the factories. You saw Tesla recently, they had to revamp and speed up production of vehicles. What did they have to do? They went into automation. Okay, door-to-door salesman is not something you're going to be seeing very soon. Why? Because our phones, a lot of us spend a lot of time on our phone, on our tablets and laptop. Behind that, there's a whole lot of algorithms that is actually tracking our interactions. And with time, they'll know what kind of product we want. And that's when we go to some e-commerce site, you know, when you browse product, before you know, you start to recommend, you know, and based on what you purchased before, when you come back, you know, they know your purchase patterns and begin to recommend. Telemarketers and postal clerks. These are jobs that the Economic Research Forum said will become obsolete. So guys, I always tell people, no matter where you are, if you're a black person, you know, a person of color, wherever you may be, home is where, you find your peace. If you find your peace in Canada, in America, in Europe, Middle East, wherever it may be, it's fine. So take advantage of whatever opportunity may be in those communities. A lot of folks is like, okay, let's work here, save money, and go invest in our country of birth. There's nothing wrong with that. But remember, where you are is where you can actually make much more impact. And obviously, look at the value of the currency as well. So guys, so it's very important to invest in the land, try to begin to plant your produce, invest in digital currency. Last episode, we talked about digital currency, otherwise you may find yourself jobless, penniless, and homeless, and, depending on government assistance. Hopefully, if you live in those countries where government exists, but remember, in many countries back in the continent, we do not have such opportunity. So please, this is very important to take note of the trend and things that's happening and how they affect you, and what you can do right now to have a leverage and be able to overcome any future challenges that may become evident in your own career. All right, guys, we're going to go to the next segment, and we'll bring to you a very wonderful story from America. This is something that actually caught my attention. As you can see on the screen, there was a whole town. It was actually it was a viral video going about. In case you've not heard about it, this was a town, an entire city in Georgia, in America, that was for sale. It was for sale. And why is this story very important? It's important because there was a lady, who lives in Philly, actually in Stonecrest. Stonecrest is a city in Georgia, in the United States of America. And then what she actually, because of all the recent, violence in America and all the riots because of the George Floyd incident, she actually decided to do some research. And while people were out there making troubles and people were just, complaining, she tried to find a solution. What did she do? So this actually report is from www.blavity.com. Okay, so she decided to say enough is enough, and she tried to create an enabling environment for black instead of complaining. So she'll be part of the solution. So the lady, she wants to, build a city, and because where she lives in Stonecrest is actually a new city. So for some of us watching right now who are based in Europe or North America, you always notice that new cities are developed, you understand, easily in this part of the world. There are cities that 10 years ago or 5 years ago was all forest. So what happens is that, in a government, provide certain incentives, hospitals are built, schools are built, shopping malls are built, and property developers go in there and build houses. And before you know it, becomes a whole new city. There are so many. I can give you an example that's happened in Canada, that's happened in America as well. So because of what she saw, she lives in a newly built city called Stonecrest in Georgia. So because of that, she decided to actually, take a look into this sale of this particular city in Toomsboro in Georgia. And she decided to do some analysis into the city. And what she decided to go to city council meetings. So guys, very important. If you live in this part of the world, in the diaspora, try and participate in city council meetings, try and understand what they are doing in regards to zoning, budget votes, meetings about neighborhood planning committees, etc. Find out what are the new development they want to start, who are the contractors they are awarding those contracts to. So this is what she did, just to understand, how a new city comes about. And the good thing is that, like I'm saying, so let's talk, group economies is very important. So group economies is what she decided to do. She decided to reach out to other people. She couldn't do it by herself. Or maybe she could do it by herself, but she couldn't see the need to do it by herself. You understand? Why take upon the load by yourself? So she reached out to 19 other families. 19 other families came together, and what did they do? They acquired the 96 acres of land. So this land, they want to start and build a new city, and then that way what she's trying to do is own their own food system, be able to build manufacturing and supply chains, build home school, build your own banks, credit union, your own cities, your own police department, tax yourself, voting your own mayor. Because remember, whatever community or neighbor you may be living now, they were built by people. Okay, they were built by people. They were a village that became a city. They had their mayor, they had their council, they had their police and fire department. So she tried to do that, and so it's very wonderful. So guys, go check it out. It's called Freedom Georgia Initiative. and she's doing that right now, and doing a lot of seminars and trying to advise people on how they can replicate this effort. It's very interesting because even myself, I'm based here in Canada. I live outside of Toronto, and recently this weekend I went to an event and I saw this young man who acquired 14 acres of land, not too far from Toronto. And what he told me actually, got me thinking. It says something that why did he leave the city? Because the price of that property, 14 acres of land, okay, it's not a vacant land because it's a building there. That's where he lives. It's similar to some condo prices in downtown Toronto. So instead of living in the boxed apartment for the same price, all he did was to drive 1 hour or 1.5 hours, 2 hours away. We have very good road network. We have very good transport system. He acquired 14 acres of land, and he said he wants to be self-sufficient. He doesn't want to be dependent. So with the COVID-19 pandemics, even though people were affected, social distancing, it wasn't impacted. Why? Because he was growing. He was growing his food. He had his own poultry. He had his own egg. He had his own animals and pygmy goats that was giving him meat and milk. He had his own backcourt generator. So whatever happens in the city, it doesn't really affect him. His land is so big, he protected. In this part of the world, you can have license. You can go get license for firearms, and that's what he did to protect his property. But yeah, we are very safe anyhow, so that's not really an issue. So guys, that really something I really wanted to share with you because it was very, very important. It was very, very important. So guys, let's go and give you more information again. So guys, take advantage of group economics. If you know anyone, reach out to me. If you can't go into digital currency by yourself, okay, reach out to me. Send me a direct message on Instagram at jbes, JAYGBES. That's my Instagram handle. Or send me an email, spotlight@gbkm.fm. Okay, we do it together. We partner. I have other people that reach out to me every now and then. Whether it's property, okay, whether it's digital currency, whether it's franchise, okay, because this is not the age and time you just trust people based on verbal agreement. No, you have to have documented agreement, you understand? So we're not doing this because you like me or I like you. No, it's of economic benefit, you understand? How we can create wealth and better, empower ourselves in our communities, in our family. And of course, when we are no longer here, we can pass down generational wealth so that our offspring, you understand, do not have to start from scratch and do not have to, struggle to make ends meet like most of us did, guys. All right, guys, so I'm going to share new news with you. I'm in Canada, so whatever affects Canada that benefits migrants and black people and people of color and everyone else, whatever race or tribe, I'd like to share that information. This information caught my attention. I just had to bring it to you guys. I don't know, for me, Canada is a safe place for a lot of refugees, migrants. It's a nation full of migrants who are very multicultural. Toronto is one of the most multiculturally diverse cities in the world. And recently, what happened? Canada has an agreement with the United States, okay? It's called the Canada-United States Safe Third Country Agreement. It's a treaty entered into force December 29, 2004, between the government of Canada and the United States to manage the flow of refugee claimants, at the shared land border. Because remember, Canada shares border with America. That's the only country we actually share border with right now. So they have that agreement. So under the agreement, or what is it supposed to do? Refugee claimants are required to request refugee protection in the first safe country they arrive in, unless they qualify for an exemption to the agreement. What does that mean? So if you come to Canada from America and you come to Canada to claim seek asylum refugee, they are most likely to deny, except that individual falls under the exception agreement, because they believe that America is a safe haven. So you could have claimed asylum in America. Or if you come from Canada to America and claim asylum or refugee in America, they are most likely to deny you because they feel Canada is safe. You should have done that. But federal court ruled that the Canada asylum agreement with the United States infringes upon the Canadian Charter of Human Rights and Freedom. According to the court, it's illegal, because most refugee claimants, or all refugee claimants, are actually running from violence and they need protection. So they believe they infringe on, the human rights. So it's quite interesting. However, the Liberal government under Justin Trudeau is appealing this court decision, of course, which is expected. Like I told you, Canada is one of the best countries in the world. And the good thing is that the court actually gave 6 months suspension on this judgment to give the government time to respond. So the government is going to go back, check their check the law, check the agreement, and probably appeal or make amends. So guys, I had to share that information with you because I'm a migrant myself. I wasn't born in Canada, and I know a lot of people are suffering persecution in their home country. People are running from violence, from war, so it's sometimes people want to come to Canada, but they don't have the direct means to come. So they are forced to go through maybe Mexico or America, and then finally in Canada. So the court just feel that wasn't ideal, and they had to do that. All right, guys, so enough of current affairs. Let's talk about investment, which I know most of my viewers like to talk about. Yes, last week we talked about digital currency, how Bitcoin, is leading. Bitcoin becomes so expensive now to acquire because one Bitcoin is about $10,000 but there are several other Bitcoin over 5,000. How do you know which one to choose? But what am I trying to say right now? On this image, Berkshire Hathaway, which is owned by Warren Buffett. Everybody knows Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha. Warren Buffett is one man whose investment practice is so amazing that he's been able to amass wealth within the last couple of decades, and he's doing very, very well because whatever he recommends always turns out to be true. So if you look on my screen right now, what do you see? That is actually Warren Buffett's portfolio for his company. You can see majority of the stocks he owns are actually bank stocks. Okay? But recently, Warren Buffett decided to, get rid of bank stocks. And people started wondering. Because, yes, we understand by March that because of the pandemic and all the lockdowns and restrictions, a lot of stocks, dropped. But they've been picking up. And Warren is the kind of person that likes to, take over companies, when they are failing or when their stocks are a bit low. And he takes over, and what he does is he revamps them and become profitable, and their share price increases drastically, and that's why he's been able to capitalize on that. So that's always been his strategy. But when he started to dump those bank stocks, people began to be worried. And not only that, Warren Buffett also did the same thing with his restaurant stocks. Yeah, we understand that restaurants are one of the businesses that's been affected the most due to COVID-19 pandemics. Even right now in my country, in Canada, a lot of restaurants cannot even, you can't even sit in the restaurant. There's sitting capacity, so a lot of people are actually sitting in the patio and outdoors. However, he owns a whole lot of shares in the company called Restaurant Brands International, and that's the firm behind Tim Hortons, Popeyes, and Burger King. So he sold those shares as well. And people are wondering, what is Warren doing? Well, unfortunately, he believes there's going to be a bank crisis. You know what we experienced a couple of years ago, 2008, if you can remember very well. There was a collapse of many economies. A lot of economy went to recession. So Warren Buffett believes that it's going to happen very soon, and he believes there's going to be a banking crisis, and that's why he's been offloading all these bank shares and trying to invest in commodity, other companies that do commodities like gold, etc. And not only that, I'm going to show you another image. And a lot of my viewers, I know you're very familiar with this man. Yes, that's the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. Is also in the news lately. Why? Because he sent out a tweet, and that particular tweet, what did he say? The author of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad told followers that there was no time to think about investing in safe havens. Because Kiyosaki is a well-known supporter of Bitcoin, and is always advising the public to buy and actively, concern himself with the downward trajectory of the fiat currency, which is paper money. He believes paper money is failing, and look at the performance of the US dollars. It's been failing recently. Well, his reasons for thinking that is that there may be a banking crisis. And why? Because of the activities of Warren Buffett recently, that he's been dumping his banking stocks and acquiring other stocks. Apart from that, the government responses, most government in North America and Europe, their response to COVID-19 was, they had to do a lot of bailouts. And as a result of that, paper money he believes they have been inflated. So according to Kiyosaki, since March, many countries, when they began the lockdown, it was affected the macro asset of the economy. Both Bitcoin and precious minerals were having huge gains. But the US dollar, the index was hitting all-time low. As a result of that, he's been advising his followers to actually take a look into digital currency. So guys, what does this tell us? First of all, Warren, as always, we know that whenever his strategy always works. And now that he's dumping his bank stocks, he believes there's going to be a banking crisis. So guys, let's begin to prepare. Okay, don't be caught unaware. I always tell people, try and invest in land. You know, real estate is something that you cannot duplicate. It's limited. It's scarcity. You know, apart from Dubai, obviously, where they try to do reclamation of the water and they turn it to land. But in this part of the world, not every country that can do that or willing to do that. So please, I always tell people, home is where your heart is. If your heart is in Canada, you know, invest heavily in land. That way, you can begin to what? Become self-sufficient. A lot of people want to get off the, you know, the grid, because what does that mean? During the COVID-19, there was restriction. A lot of people were locked indoors. You understand? But if you have your own land, you have your acres of land 1 or 2 hours away from the city, you can always commute back and forth, because if you do 9 to 5, you're coming down in the morning. If it takes you 2 hours, okay, you're going back. You understand? But remember, that land continue to appreciate. Apart from that, if you have acres of land, what can you do? You can also, you know, fend for yourself, grow your fruits and vegetables, you know, have your poultry, you know, have your, you know, animal husbandry, you know, have your cattle and all that, and you can be self-sufficient. So when there's scarcity out there, you have enough, okay? And if you know, obviously, if you're not on the grid, you mostly power with propane, or you have your backup generator. So you really have no reason to fear. And of course, if you have acres of land, you may have license to actually do your own hunting for your protein. You can go for deer, you know, Canada goose, white turkey, etc. So guys, this is what the show is always about, you know, going out there to do our analysis and giving you those information so you can make wise decisions. So guys, don't forget, this is the second time I'm sounding the alarm. You know, a lot of people feel that there's going to be a banking crisis, and you know, and as a result, that's going to affect the economy. And if it affects the economy, what's going to happen? You understand? House prices will drop. People, a lot of companies will lay off. There's going to be high unemployment, you know, and we don't go back to the era of, you know, social welfare and all that. So guys, let's make wise decisions and be able to, you know, benefit ourselves. So guys, we're going to go on a very quick break. Do not go away. Remember, we'll be back. I have more information for you, mouth-watering information, and stay tuned, and do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Resume to career@gbkm.fm. That is career, CAREER, @gbkm.fm. It's time to turn your passion into a career. Do you believe you could host an entertaining, engaging, and thoughtful weekly show? Or are you a business person or entrepreneur interested in building a brand for yourself? Can you connect with an audience and
Yes, welcome back. This is the Spotlight Show. My name is Jabez Napoleon Ogbole. I'm your host. Thank you for staying with me thus far, and I'm very happy you're able to be with me right now. If you're just joining me, please remember, after the live broadcast, we have our recordings on our YouTube channel at GBKM TV, and you're also on Facebook as well. So guys, thank you so much. Remember to share, subscribe to our channel, and like it, and tell your friends and family about this show. All right, so this show, we have a new segment of this show, very interesting segment called Did You Know? Yes, and this is powered by Top Run Consulting. Who is Top Run Consulting? Top Run Consulting is an IT consulting company. And they train and empower people in the technology field, and this is a new segment that they've powered for this program. So thanks to Top Run Consulting, and this segment is going to show you tips and tricks about career advancement, job search, and resume. And today, do you know what do we have? And I'm going to show you right now. Some very useful information that you may not know, that a lot of mistakes that people make. Yes, your resume. In this part of the world, in North America, we call it resume. In Europe, they call it CV, curriculum vitae. Same thing in the back, some part of the continent. Yes, so I'm going to share with you. You know, according to an article on Forbes magazine by Ashira Prozak, a resume serves as the first impression you make on your hiring manager. So it needs to be very laser focused to include only the information that is relevant, okay? Relevant and helpful in you getting the job. So start something, even myself, I make some of these mistakes before in the past, you understand? Because our resume, nowadays, things are really changed. Back in the days, we used to have like 6 pages of resume. No longer the fact. Attention span is very, very minimal now. If you send me a resume for a job and it's 5 pages, I don't have the time to go through that 5 pages. I want to scan through the first page or the second page. You need to highlight those keys. So the first mistake people make is dates other than the listing of your work history. Your date you acquire a certificate, your degree is irrelevant. Okay? You want to talk about the dates of your work history. Okay, I was in this company ABC from this to that. That is what is actually relevant. And it's true. Only dates that belong on your resume are the dates of your work history. The other mistake we make as well is details that give away your age. You don't need to share your age on your resume, guys. A lot of people make those kind of mistakes, and it's not really good. But what you've done is to screen yourself out of an opportunity to get interviewed. Okay, age, yes, age comes with knowledge, it comes with experience, but some people, for some reason, for certain jobs, they don't want certain people. But it's good to have the opportunity to, they say a trial will convince you, to be able to convince them. When you put your age, what you do, you just screen yourself out of those opportunities. Another thing again is large blocks of tests. People just think, by putting large block of tests and explaining my roles and responsibilities is ideal. Like I said, attention span. When I get resumes, I always scan through it because I know what I'm looking for. Okay, so you need to analyze your skill. Large block of tests is not really important, because at first glance people actually want to skip through that. People want to be able to make sure your resume is readable, ensure that the information you want to get people's attention is highlighted. Another thing is your photo. Photo, guys. People like to put their photo in their resume. I've done that in the past, but unfortunately, the expert have said that photos on resume is not actually ideal. So guys, having photo put you for potential discrimination, intentionally or unintentionally. So guys, photo is not there. And obviously, number 5, links to social media pages that are not relevant. The most important link on your resume is your LinkedIn profile, because LinkedIn profile is career networking site, okay, which highlight your skill. So if there's any other link there, it should be link that showcase your professional abilities. Okay, don't go put links there that are not really relevant to the job or your skill set for that job. And the last but not the least is your address. What's your address doing on your resume? I see a lot of resume. People put their address on their resume. Do you know what that does? It actually takes you off the opportunity. Why? Because nowadays people work remotely. You understand? For you, if you are looking for a job in the next city, maybe that's 1 hour away, you're already committed to commuting to that place. Okay? So why put your address there? Because if you put your address there, the hiring manager might think, oh, this person lives 40 minutes or 1 hour away. And as a result, you may get screened out of the opportunity to interview. So guys. So yes, guys, did you know it's a new segment powered by Top Run Consulting? So I want to give a quick shout out to them. They've been doing an amazing thing. So Top Run has successfully helped motivate professionals, including myself, to transition and thrive in careers within the technology industry. They teach core technical, business, and leadership skills required by leading organizations. I'm in the tech space myself, like I told you before. We make a whole lot of software. You build a lot of platforms, enabling, business process management, robotic process optimization. What we're trying to do is get rid of a whole lot of repetitive tasks so that machines can actually do that. So a whole lot of people are going to be out of jobs. Like I shared with you before, some of the industry has been impacted. So if you belong to those industries, guys, take a look and see how you can acquire new skill sets or how you can transition into new careers. And like I said, Top Run is one of those companies doing great things within the black communities and across Canada as well. They cater to all people. It doesn't matter where you're from, what your background is. They are very, 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 very helpful. So guys, it's been amazing show today. I'm very, very happy that you've been able to join me thus far. We are here to share you wonderful information. And like I always tell you, we do the heavy lifting. All you have to do is relax and then, assimilate this information. And you go back and make your own wise decision. Thank you to all my listeners out there, those that reach out to me by phone, by email. A whole lot of people have been able to invest in digital currency. A whole lot of people have been able to take their career to the next level. A whole lot of people through these shows have been able to start new businesses, provide new services, have multiple streams of income. And this is what it's all about. Today we're talking about group economics. Let's take advantage of that. A few people have reached out to me, on wonderful initiative, which I myself want to invest in. Okay, because I'm not here to talk. I want to benefit myself as well. Okay, so guys, take advantage of these opportunities. Reach out to me, spotlight@gbkm.fm or Instagram @jbes, JAYGBES. It's always amazing sharing Sunday evenings with you. I'm very happy for sharing your Sunday evening with me as well, wherever it may be. Thank you so much. If you have friends in the North America, in Europe, tell them about this show. Have friends back home, share it. You understand? Because empowerment is very important. We are going to the 21st century. And we need to be the leaders of the 21st century, guys. Okay, so please take this very serious and next week is going to be very important as well. I'm going to bring in some special guests doing amazing things, coming to share, their challenges and opportunities that is available out there. It's very interesting being with you. Thank you so much. And same time next week, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a 30-minute show where we'll give you relevant information. So until we meet again, remember, you're always in the spotlight, and the change you seek begins with you. Good night.
Strong social media skills? If so, the GBKM Network would love to invite you to join our team. We're looking for driven, genuine folks who are willing to work hard as an independent broadcaster. If this sounds like you, come join our team. For more information, email your resume to career@gbkm.fm. That is career, career, @gbkm.fm. It's time to turn your passion into a career. Do you believe you could host an entertaining, engaging, and thoughtful weekly show? Or are you a business person or entrepreneur interested in building a brand for yourself? Can you connect with